Good morning. Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. I'm your host, Steven Anderson, aka Smartest. Yeah, excited to be here. It has been a couple weeks. It has been a couple of weeks, and I have not touched this project since. So, a little bit of an introduction for those of you who do not know me. There are only a few of you so far, so I'll have to see if we introduce myself again later. But I'm Steven Anderson. I'm a character supervisor on Overwatch, and yeah, I love doing stuff on the side. Currently, my biggest side hustle has been these guys over here. You see my shark in the corner. That is a that's a Kickstarter that I have running right now, and I'm super excited about it. I'll probably post links quite regularly. In fact, let me go ahead and pull it up to kind of show you guys because I'm excited about it. It's fun. This is my Kickstarter. I'll go ahead and I'll copy that because why not. But yeah, I got a little bit about me and a whole bunch of different really cool toys that I'm going through and putting out there as a part of it, all created within ZBrush. So that's kind of a fun thing. This has been a dream of mine for a long time. So I'm super excited about it, and I'll definitely go through and post about this throughout. If you want to find stuff, you can either get to my website and you can just click on the button here, or I'll just go ahead and drop the link here in the chat. Feel free to check it out. Check it out, follow it, contribute, whatever you like to do. Super excited about being able to go ahead and move into that sort of stage. Hey Salim, how you doing? Hey Karan. Yo. Alright, let's get started on this. Okay, so there are a few things going on that I want to address. Let me pull up the spotlight actually, so that way we have what we're wanting to look at here. One of the things that I want to really get nailed down is the hair. Currently, actually, let me see, what's this hair looking like? Oh yeah, okay, I know it. I get it. Here, let's go ahead and let's just turn that off. Oh, hold on. We don't want this. Let's invert that. We'll say split hidden. I do want that on. Okay. Cool. So now we've got the hair, but we don't have to worry about everything else being there. All right. So what I want to do, there are a couple of things. Right now, the face is not quite feeling the same as my sketch, and so I want to try to push that a little bit further into that direction. I mean, little by little, I want to go about trying to solidify some pieces. So like for instance on her torso, give me a second here. On the torso we have like this this is segmented into 3 pieces here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, right? So I want to go ahead and solidify those things together. And I'll probably go ahead and make like a separate, I mean, if we look at the body, like there's the breast and then there's the torso. And the torso is, both blue and purple. So it's like it's getting clothing and this is ZBrush, yes. Yeah, I made everything here so far is just ZBrush. There are a few things that I go in and do in other software, but I haven't done anything in any other software package yet for this particular character. Yeah, let me see. I'm gonna grab this nose. Currently the nose, I mean, I kind of like it. It's interesting. It's different. The nostrils don't feel quite natural per se, and I do feel like there's a little bit of a different, like a little bit more of a controlled thickness to the end of the nostril, so I might have to just go through and make this work anyway. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab this. Oh, grab it with the move brush, please. There we go. Just going to try to like pull on this a little bit so that it gets me a little bit better of a nostril shape. There we go. Yeah, I can take that. That's great. That works. It gets a little bit more of it now. Bit clown. Not sure what you're referring to there. Kind of an odd comment, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. The hair that I put into my sketch, it's very shape-based, very, in fact, here, I gotta go ahead and get up my timeline. Let's load this in. So we have the views, resize document to fit the track. Okay, cool, there we go. Okay, so here's where we can go ahead and we can start better matching our hair to the concept. Now there are some things that I'll probably go ahead, let me see, is that, there we go, that's better. That's better. Okay, now there are some things that I will probably go ahead and just leave. Like if we take away, let's take away the bangs real quick. And let's move, not move, but we'll make this a little bit less opaque. Okay. There are some things that I did. Yeah. There are some things that I did to modify the character that really kind of push it in a slightly different direction. I might play with it a bit to see if I can get some of that sketch quality back. Like one of the things that I have happening here is that these lips are coming out like a bit further than they might naturally come out. And so I'm trying to figure out a way to be able to balance that. I mean, I could try to pull on this whole region down here. Let me see. Let's go ahead and just kind of mask this out. Soften that mask, invert, soften it the other way. We'll just kind of like pull it out and up. That's not bad. I could probably keep that. There we go. It lines up better now, so that's cool. The cheek I'm going to probably leave about how it is, because in order to get that shape, I have to play with this quite a bit. Which, I don't know, maybe it's worth experimenting and trying it out just to see what we get. I'm trying to turn on AccuCurve with the move brush. That's interesting. It's an interesting idea, so I'm curious just to be able to balance this out. Like, what do we do for it, right? So I'm going to come over here. This has already got like a nice line coming up from over here. That's really strong. Kind of soften things out a little bit. And I can have it kind of strong going down into that area. I'm curious. I'm not entirely convinced that this is what I want. But it is interesting. It's been a long since I've done Marvelous Designer. I don't have access to it personally, I used it when I worked on Hogwarts Legacy a little bit. Um, but really, that's the only time I've ever actually used it in a professional setting. Okay, so we can kind of like ease some of that out. Okay, I kind of like this. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, let's duplicate that. This is kind of the way I go about working through if I want to keep something or not. And let's kind of pull back until we have the cheeks back to where they were. So that way we have soft cheeks and we have other cheeks, right? So the girl is this is reference. This girl right here is reference. This is it's just like something that I like because of like the layers of the clothing. So there are a couple of elements like just mostly just down right in here, like this little bit underneath the. I can probably get rid of that. It's obviously distracting. Um, yeah, it's my first AAA game. So currently I'm on Overwatch, which is also AAA. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun being in games. The shark is actually my first toy. Okay, so I got Kickstarter going currently. Let's kind of pull this up right over in here. It's my first toys, so really super excited about it. If you're wanting to kind of join in the fun, I'll post the link again. You guys probably saw it earlier because it was I literally just posted it, but no, Overwatch is not going to be open world. It's a PvP first person shooter sort of game, so it's not the type of game to go open world, sadly. All right, I'm gonna focus on this for a second here. See if I can get myself into an accomplishing sort of mood here. Oh, turn that head back on. There we go. Okay, still got the eyebrows. Sweet. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Just to be able to add some thickness to this, I'm going to say dynamic. Let's turn on dynamic, and we'll put up thickness. Okay, so that's starting out nice. Let me see. How thick did I go? Yeah, that should be good. That should be good. Let's go ahead. I'm going to say... Let's pull this into the mesh. In fact, here's what we could do. Instead of just doing it quite like that, let's grab the mask lasso. And we'll just kind of pull this side in. I want to try to make sure that the bottom of the eyebrow is kind of coming like right off of the skin. I may at some point go ahead and take it and just actually push it into the skin, but right now just having it on the surface is fine. Right on, right on. Look at that, yes. All right. So we got this sort of thing going on. Yeah, that's sticking out maybe a little bit too far. Cool. Very cool. You don't need a PayPal account to get into Kickstarter, no. Especially not just to visit, but yeah. something like that. Let's say apply. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn dynamic back to being smooth. Turn off thickness. Okay, so right now it's not giving me the effect that I want. In order to get the effect that I want, first off, I'm going to go ahead and say, let's do this. I'm going to say polygroups. Let's say group by normals. I'll say modify topology, mirror and weld, crease, PG. So this way we get a good, kind of a nice little sharp effect on the edge of those brows. And then what I want to do is I want to put in like a new edge through here. I'm actually going to go ahead and crease this edge loop partial. Let's mask it. Invert the mask. Oh, and let's soften our creasing. So I want to take this, make it so that it's maybe like 2. My dynamic subdivisions is set to 3, so just put the crease right below that, and makes it a little bit easier for it to stay kind of nice, you know. Let's kind of turn the camera down a little bit. Alright, that should be good-ish enough, right? Good-ish enough. Alright, let me see. So I wanted to try to gauge, I think that might actually be a little bit too hard crease, so I'm going to take this maybe down to 1. That looks a little bit nicer. I like that. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and kind of modify our eyebrow shape. I'm going to try to make sure that this curve hits a little bit lower here in the middle, and then a little bit higher here in the end. So I'm going to pull it something like that. And I'm just trying to get like a little swoop here. And what this does, there we go. I might actually take this, kind of pull it back. Something, you know, try to play around with it some. Yeah, so I'm just trying to go ahead and kind of play with this, make it feel like it's nice and clean. I feel like I need to go ahead and grab that that center line and kind of pull it out a little bit further here, especially in the middle, just to make sure that I emphasize that shape a little bit better. Otherwise, it's just going to feel a little bit too flat. And I feel like it's going on maybe a little bit too low, so it's feeling flat anyway. Alright. Okay, the shape feels maybe a little bit too straight on the top, so I'm going to try to give it a little bit more of a gesture here. And that's starting to feel a little bit better. I'm liking that. That can stay for now. We'll adjust it more as we get further into the character's design, but you know, just depending on how it feels, how it looks all together, right? Now what's cool, I still started doing character blockouts and get used to the ZBrush tools. Yeah, it takes some time. Definitely takes some time. It's one of those things that takes, you know, practice and dedication and all of that. But you know, it's fun. In fact, my first sculpt. Let me see if I can pull this up because this is kind of a funny thing. I'm gonna pull this up over here. SMAARTIST. This is my first ZBrush sculpt. Wow, it's just zoomed out like a whole. Oh, it's just a small picture. Okay, so this is my first ZBrush sculpt. I've come a long ways. A lot of difference there, right? Okay, I'm gonna pull this over to this other screen so that I can. So yeah, just fun. It's just fun. So yeah, and the reason I got into ZBrush is because somebody told me like, oh, you can sculpt monsters in ZBrush and it's like super easy and super cool and everything. You get symmetry and the symmetry's really good. And I was like, oh, I'll give that a try. And here I am, like 13 years later almost. All right, so I'm liking how that's turning out. Okay. I better hit save every once in a while, right? Looks like a Star Wars villain. Okay. I mean, I think that like the villains usually have quite different colors, but you just looking at the eye color, is that kind of what's making you think Star Wars villain? I could see that. All right. Let me see. Let's dive into. Okay, right now I've got the jacket, and it's all just kind of like temporary thickness. I do want to go ahead and see about getting some of these pieces worked into being together. Let me see. There's a lot that we can go ahead and kind of mush together now. Okay, let's go ahead and bring back the hair. Let's start working on that hair again. Grab the bangs. Okay, these bangs are not the right volume, not the right shape, but we're going to kind of play with it to see if we can get everything to work the way that we want it to. Cool. All right. Let's turn off AccuCurve. I'm trying to take a look and really compare like what's going on. I mean, it's like I can see, if I look here, I can see like this shape is not matching. So I mean, I can go in and I can kind of try to match that a little bit better, which is fun. Oh, that was not supposed to go symmetrically on this piece. Oh, it's because I have it like super low. I was like, why is it not? So I'm gonna try to like, I'm gonna take the opportunity for this to become like a plane change in the hair. Kind of flatten that down a little bit on either side so that it creates this interesting shape going through. Yeah. Yeah, portfolio takes a long time. It takes a lot of time. Okay, I'm gonna see about making that something like this. I'm just gonna try like sculpting in a couple of spots on the hair. see what I get. So I think by getting a couple of ridges in here, it'll help it to feel a little bit nicer. Come on. Interesting. Okay, let's get rid of that. I think I should be able to use Smart Resim. Nope. So we'll just go ahead and we'll polish it until it looks a little bit more better. Yeah, that looks good. Most of it's hidden anyway, so we should be all right. All right, so that's coming along all right. Let me go ahead and do something like, maybe I'll do like an out here. Let's make it go all the way through. I just want to try to make like a nice plane, and then we can try to make like, in fact here, to be able to make that one, let's go ahead and use the standard brush. I'm going to turn on AccuCurve, and I'm just going to kind of draw through it like that. That way it gets us a little bit more of that plane change effect without breaking the bank, without breaking the poly bank. Yeah, sculpting definitely takes time, and it's one of those things where, I mean, myself included, but like so many of us will go through and we'll have a personal project, and that's the best way to learn, by the way. Like, get a personal project that you feel excited about, and then push to final. So this character is an example of something that I am, I'm trying to push my design sensibilities with like characters with big eyes. And so yeah, this is something that I'm trying to do for myself, for to be able to continue learning and growing and things like that. Yeah, even though I'm already doing big things in the industry, it's like I still have to learn. I still have to grow. I still have to stay on top of my craft. So yeah, lots going on there. So it's not just a one-time thing. You definitely have to keep learning and keep growing and pushing yourself. And that's looking much cooler so far as that piece goes. I don't need this piece to stay super symmetrical, but I do want it to stay pretty symmetrical, right? So I'm just trying to make sure that I'm just kind of keeping an eye on things. Okay, so that's going on nicely. These bangs are kind of a pain. And I mean, it might be worth going through and like redoing it, but I'm not sure that I need to redo it right this moment per se. So I'm trying to go through and find balance. Try to see. Oh, I didn't want that. Let's turn off symmetry. Okay. It's like, it's so funny. It's like symmetry is always there. And it's on until you don't need it. Yeah, Steven is my name. Problem with stylized characters is they look good in 2D. We make them in 3D. It's difficult because like in 2D it's really easy to cheat. You just make the design, but then you don't necessarily always consider how it looks from every angle, and you're just looking for a shape. Whereas here, like I definitely need to go through and think about shape and how those things are going to affect the overall look. Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. But it's okay. It is okay. Take that, kind of pull that in a little bit. Take this corner, kind of move it up. I want to get that empty space there because that's going to be really important to the silhouette. I'm trying to fill in volumes right now. Okay. So here's what we want to do. Let's see. It's like, okay, so one of the things that I'm considering, and maybe it could be worth going through and doing this on a different copy of the hair. I'm going to say, oh, there we go. That's pretty cool. It is, but it's, anyway. I'm going to go ahead and say knife curve. Cool. So I'll get rid of that. We'll bring everything back except for that piece, and we'll say split hidden. Okay, let's say Control W. We'll go ahead and say geometry, fill hole, close holes, whatever the button is, close holes. Control W just to make sure that that's its one solid piece here. Okay, and then let's Dynamesh it. Look at us go. Look at us go. Okay, I'm not worried about color at the moment, so we'll just kind of leave that for now. Okay, so the thing I want to try, I want to, let's really push this so that this is more in the neighborhood of where the hair is coming from. And then something I want to try is I want to try to take, yeah, that's super zany. In order for this to work, I'm going to have to like pull it back. Which could be an interesting aesthetic choice. I mean, because like the hair on this side, really it's coming from like lower down. So I'll have to play around with it, see what we get, see where we get to. But one of the things I want to try to play around with is this idea of taking what's here And then we'll just kind of rotate it in. Kind of reshape it some, but yeah, getting kind of like this curve so that maybe like this is the top side of that face and it's just kind of, it might work. It might work. Here, that's a little bit, let's see about getting this continuity back in here a little bit more so it's more like the whole thing's kind of twisting over itself. Let's build up this volume a little bit. Should be fun. Do you have the video of how I started the block out? No. This character started as a demo that I did for a class that I teach. So I'm just trying to take some time to be able to work on it. Yeah, to work on it on the side. Hopefully get it so that it's more presentable. Good question though. Okay, let me come over here. Same thing, let's say modify topologies, say close holes, and then there we go. Let's get something like this. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and try to make some interesting shape adjustments to this bit here. See if we can get this to flow in a way that feels good. Not the focal shift. Stop it. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to bring the edge of the hair over this way. So you see like I'm getting like this divergence of the way that the hair is flowing here. And that can create some interesting effects. I do want to make sure that I'm getting an appealing shape through here because it's not super appealing yet. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab this and I'm going to say just kind of like pull that up. Let me see, maybe further back. Pull that out a little bit. Maybe we can kind of pull this down some. Nah, I don't like that. I don't like that swoop down. I think that it needs to stay a little bit more rigid. Let's go ahead and take this and we'll just kind of play with that shape a little bit so that it's a little bit less curved on the end there. Check it from different angles, make sure that it's all right. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and try to add in a little bit of a plane break right there because I think that will look pretty cool. And hey, I was right. All right, let me see. I'm going to come in here. Let's get this cleaned up a little bit. My daughter's learning Spanish and she's doing a good job with it. I'm really excited. Although it makes it harder because now I can't use Spanish as a secret language for my between my wife and I. But I am excited for her because she's just doing such a great job with it, and I try to teach her words and sentence structure and things like that. And she didn't used to care so much, but now she's starting to really get into it. So I think she really liked seeing me in Duolingo with my French, and she got really excited and she's like, I want to play that game too, Dad. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun. All right, let me see about going in. Let's merge these together so that they are same subtool, even if they're not the same. What should we dig it? Color fill object. Even if they're not the same solid piece, I still want to use. Yeah, Duolingo's great. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, right? But it's still like super good. I'm just going to use some of this Sculptors Pro to get rid of some of that extra. Learned English from watching anime. Awesome. That's funny. That's funny that you wanted to learn English to watch anime and not Japanese or Korean. I know a lot of my friends who are really into anime. They specifically learned Japanese so that they could understand the anime. Which is kind of interesting. Like I feel like there's this big culture around I don't want to say around anime per se, but certainly around wanting to. I don't even know if it's a culture thing, but it's like one of those things where like a lot of people have this preference of wanting to hear what's being said in the language that's being said in, because the dubbing will often lose emotion or something, and it's just like I've got a buddy who is Japanese. He understands a little bit of Korean, but not a ton. But he watched Squid Games and any other kind of Korean K-drama in Korean because of exactly that, being able to hear it in the way that it was originally said, and he finds that super helpful. Oh, you know what? I just had an idea. I am going to grab this. I'm trying to see if I can make some sense out of this. which means I may want to take this and make this a little bit less broad. Trying to pick out a couple of edges here that I can play with some. Alright, this looks like it's getting holes in it, so let's come over here, let's go to geometry, let's say close holes. Oh, it's not getting a hole. Okay, so it's the eyelash. I see. I see. Okay, so let me see. What do we do about that? Because I do actually want that to be... Oh, this is interesting. I'm going to try something. That's what we're here for, right? We're here to try stuff. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and that's the way it is with any language. Like if I'm, yeah, because every place, even different countries, like the difference between Scotland and here, or the difference between, um, oh, I can't even think of like different countries. But I mean, you think about like Arabic, and like the Arabic from Egypt is going to be different from the Arabic from Jordan, you know, like because of the regionalistic slang, the way that people use certain words, the way that you know, it's super cool. Um, it's actually one of my favorite things about languages is how words are used. Yeah, it's one of those things. Japanese is such a beautiful language, and I think that like if you're going into business and things like that, it'd be super helpful. And a lot of people do it just for fun. It's a fun language. It's beautiful. It's super cool. Um, for me in my life, I've had a couple of times where it could have been very helpful to have known Japanese. um, but it's not super necessary. So it's not really like a huge something that I feel pressured to learn. The area where I was living before where I am now, there was a very big Chinese-speaking population, and so I tried getting into um, what's it called? Um, I tried getting into Chinese on Duolingo, just for the standpoint of being able to understand or help people if I needed to or whatever. Um, yeah, people like when you can speak to them, and it's a very neat, simple little thing. Um, but in the end, I found it very hard even just to get as far as ni hao. It's a very tricky language. Um, to get accustomed to trying to read, um, to trying to, and so it's like it was a hard one for me, and so I never really pursued it any further. I may go back and try it again, but oh boy, like that rocked my world. That was such a hard language to try. English is hard too. Like English is so hard. Yeah, you can see I'm trying to like rotate around and find like the shape inconsistencies, because that's going to be my main concern, is making sure that it's making the shape that I want, right? Okay, I'm going to grab this other piece here. There we go. Okay, so shape-wise, that's looking better. It's pulling away from here a little bit nicer, but let's go ahead and continue working on getting this to be better. Um, okay. Cool, so that's pulled that away from there. I don't like how wide this is coming out, so I mean I'll have to play with that a little bit. And actually, let's do this. I'm going to say let's grab this right here. I'm going to grab scale, and I'm just going to hold Alt and use that center line, center button on the transpose line. And what that's going to do is it's going to essentially like squeeze it in from all sides except for the direction that it's pointing. You can also do that with the gizmo, but I like using this this transpose line more often than not. Okay, let's kind of just squeeze and push this into place here. I'm still not 100% sure on this, and maybe it's just a matter of like grabbing this guy right here, and maybe I'll just like say just use like move brush, I guess. Kind of pull that over this direction a little bit nicer. I'm gonna have to play with this side over here because that's definitely. Hey, Art Vlogs, how you doing? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. She's off to a good start. Definitely trying to play around, have fun, and do what we do, right? We do what we do. Let me see. I'm still not completely sold on having this side hair be like this. I think the thing that I'm working through is how to rationalize the shape that it's making and where it's coming from and things like that. So what I might do, I'm gonna go ahead, let's delete hidden. Kind of line that back up more or less and say mirror. Just to be able to have somewhere to start that feels a little bit more symmetrical. To make sure we have different poly groups for each one of those. Now I kind of like this little piece here, so I might leave that for now, but then I'll kind of duplicate it down. Orale, there we go, yes. Okay, let's go ahead and grab our transpose line here. And I'm going to say, you know what, let's make it shorter. And then we can just kind of like alt grab it. I'll switch around the other direction and see what we can do. Oh, it's going way in there. I didn't realize how far into the head that was going. Okay. Something kind of like this. So maybe it's like coming up and meeting with that piece, but then it's overlapping the lower pieces. Still not 100% sure on this, but we'll see. I didn't want that. I wanted this one. I actually didn't want that one. I wanted this one. Okay, so now that we've got that, I'm gonna kind of like pull this over. Actually, let's kind of pull this over too. Let's get AccuCurve out here, do something fun. Kind of play with that end a little bit, you know? Cool. Yeah, that's not too bad. I'm gonna turn that off. Let's grab this. Oh, back face masking, come on. There we go. I'm gonna try to like pull on this a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit too low. Let's kind of pull on it up here. We'll just kind of continue this down to the point for this particular piece. Okay. Now, something that I'm trying to take a look at is that it feels very empty in here between the cheek and these side hairs that are kind of coming out. I don't like it. I don't like it. Let's go ahead and turn off the back face masking. In fact, I'm going to turn on symmetry for this part. See, I like something like that better. I think the kids are playing something kind of crazy. I'm just going to kind of take this side and try to fill it out a little bit better. I'm going to have to like smooth this area out, but that's totally fine. Okay, same thing over on this side. Just kind of smooth this down a little bit. Just gonna try to maybe fill in a little bit. You know, I'm just trying to figure out like what's going to work the best. Lots of back and forth, right? Lots and lots of back and forth. Here's not back face masking for this move so I can modify that silhouette a bit better. You can see like there's like a bit of a lump right here. You can see the discoloration, how it's like there's this dark patch. That means it's just kind of like a little bit too indented compared to everything else around it. I don't want it to be flat, but I do want it to be a bit more predictable, a bit more uniform, things like that. And you can see it's still like kind of a weird line down here. Lots of stuff to kind of work through and tweak. There we go. That's working quite a bit better. All right, let's check this side out again. We'll come back in. Let's do the same thing. We'll just kind of like pull this out so that we're getting a little bit nicer of a finish. You can see it's still got kind of like a weird dark patch. So just trying to even things out a little bit better, make it more uniform. Cool, 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 cool. Same thing, I'll kind of like tweak the silhouette just a slight bit. Righto. This is a little bit odd, so you see like the line that this is making. I wanted to kind of clean that up a little bit. That feels better. Still not perfect, but it's, you know, it's certainly like a lot better than it was. Kind of pull that out and pull this in a little bit. Just try to ease some of the flow. Okay. So here's something that I'm looking at now that I'm feeling like I gotta figure out, gotta kind of rework. This chunk that's coming down right here, it feels like it's grabbing a lot of attention, and I'm not entirely certain about the results. I feel like it could be a little bit downstated. I think it's just coming through a little bit too hard and demanding too much attention. So I'm trying to think about like how I can create a better balance. Part of it is going to have to do with this little guy here on top, and then the other part is probably going to have to do with making sure that I get a little bit more just balance. Trying to find balance in how this hair is coming through. So, I mean, you can see I went through and kind of like pulled out the hair that was there on the side. I think that might help. But it's going to take a little bit of working to get this to feel like it's got the right shape. It's already 9:30. I'm trying to keep an eye on the clock so that I can be available at around 10:30 for my wife. Let me see. So I'll get this to kind of come down over here like this maybe. All right. Oh, hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second. All right. Okay. So what I want to try to do is I want to try to streamline how these pieces are kind of going together, or how they're flowing together, how they're sitting together. A lot of it's going to come down to just kind of moving this, pinching it in some. I like that. Do something kind of like that for now. This feels like this is coming out really, really far, so I'm going to try to pull this in some. Let's try to pull this up some. It's going to be a matter of like finding a balance in how things fill and how I did say fill, and I meant fill. How things fill in different areas. Since we're talking about language earlier, it's like might as well just make sure that I clarify. There we go. Let's grab this. I'm curious if I were to take this and kind of rotate it forward more. Nah, it's still hidden over there. Okay. Okay. So here's something I want to do with this piece. Let's go ahead, let's grab our scale with the transpose line. I'm going to hold Alt, and we're just going to pinch this down right here. Move to the move line, and then just kind of like pull that down. And we could even like pull it over a little bit too. I'm actually going to try to mush this down quite a bit more. And maybe I'll delay that little the little apex until a little bit further along. You can see, like with the hair, one of the things I'm trying to push for here is, like, you can see the difference in height along that ridge is very small here, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it kind of like dies off. So I think that's something that I'm going to, that's something that looks pretty good. I'm going to keep that. Let's go ahead and do this. All right, let's do it this way. Let's go ahead and grab in symmetry, hide that. I'm going to kind of curl it inward. No, it's not going to work, is it? Maybe I could take it and kind of curl it this way, because that's got kind of an interesting shape to it. It's not quite fitting from that angle. Let's see. Just trying to fiddle around and see if I can get design to work in 3D. It's like we were talking about earlier. I mean, it's like the 2D doesn't lend itself very easily to 3D. And so I got to do a lot of figuring out. Hey, Leonard. Yes, I was in Vegas. I went for Designer Con. It wasn't the most amazing experience, but you know, I went, I returned, I'm safe. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a huge deal. I mean, it was just super, super underattended. I was at Lightbox. Lightbox was really good. Um, yeah, Lightbox, I feel like I always super, super enjoy that one. Um, Designer Con, I really enjoyed it the first time I attended. This time I went as a vendor, and it was the first time that they had held the convention in Vegas, and it was just very underattended. So I didn't make a whole lot of money But yeah, it was like it was crazy. It wasn't great. Are you using poly paint just for preview volumes or something like that? Are you using poly paint just for preview volumes or something else? I'm not entirely certain what you're referring to there, punching ball. So there is poly paint, and certainly like lots of it. The poly paint is there as just to be able to help help with preview stuff. Just so that it's so it's easier for me to visualize what she's going to look like in the end, that sort of thing. I am liking where the hair's going now though, so that's not too bad. I'm going to get rid of this hair here, and I'm just going to like duplicate that hair over. Let's delete hidden. Let's go ahead and delete that hidden, and then we can deformation mirror. Oh, that changes that shape a lot though. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Shoo. Made trip worse. What? I doubt that. I mean, it would have been, I don't know, it would have been just a trip. That. Let me see. You know what, just for the sake, let's go ahead and say mirror. I'm just going to have it there. But let's change it to red so that way we know that this is not something that we're going to be, sorry, color fill object. So we know that's not something that we're going to be using. There are the old bangs. Let me see. So what I want to do is I do want to tweak this. Okay. Excuse me. Now, it's interesting because I'm looking at this and I'm feeling like if I just take this guy here, kind of wrap it a little bit differently, maybe I can get that silhouette back. Just maybe. It's like I'm trying to experiment with this and see if it's something that I can do. And in fact, with this bit here, let's just go ahead and hide these just so we can kind of see what we're doing a little bit better. I don't like that. That's definitely like, because it's like from this side, like that's creating kind of a cool silhouette, but from this side, it's like it super ruins the silhouette and looks terrible. So I gotta kind of probably just eliminate the top piece. Anyway, we'll go ahead. We'll refine that here. Let's say In fact, let's, instead of saying delete hidden, let's just say split hidden, and then we'll just hide it. That way we still have it in case we decide we want to utilize it for something else, right? Let's go ahead and pull this up. Let's just kind of tweak and refine that line. Yeah, maybe I could make that into like a stretch goal. Like if I make it on my Kickstarter to we'll say to $30,000, I can make an ornament. Of course, like the Kickstarter ends December 15th, and so technically, like the ornament wouldn't get to people until April, but at least they'd have one for 2025. I don't know. I survived 2024. This year really does feel like, in some ways, we totally went to the sharks. Ha ha ha. Okay, this surface feels much too simple, so I'm just trying to break it up a little bit. Still haven't had breakfast and my stomach is noticing. Okay, do something kind of like that. I'm not liking the way that this is reading from the front, so I'm just going to try to play with this shape here a little bit. I mean, I could go in and make it so that it kind of twists a little bit, and that could be fun. Yeah, it's kind of a fun bit. Alright, play with that there. Okay, so now that looks more appealing from the front on this side, right? From the side, that looks pretty cool. Let's kind of play with this side shape here a little bit. Maybe give it a little bit more of an apex here. Let's grab that AccuCurve. Give it a little bit of a something there. Let's kind of pull this in, pull this out. Again, kind of pull this out a little bit, just give it something a little bit sharper. Pull that out maybe a little bit. I don't like how that line's going like right through the middle, so let's try to fix this a little bit. Let's grab this. Maybe like super cheap fix, and hopefully it's good enough. I like that better. I mean, there are things about it that I don't like, but we can clean it up placement wise, I think I like that better. Yeah, I got a bowl of cereal waiting for me too. I've got corn pops. For anybody who is interested in checking out my Kickstarter, I put the link into the chat, so yeah, go give it a look. Go give it a look-see. It's pretty fun. I've actually got the factory prototypes right here, so it's fun. I've been taking pictures and everything. There's Brucey, there's Hammy, you know, lots of fun. I've really enjoyed having these guys around. And then here's the fish pot. Okay, really big, you know, decent sized collectible vinyl toy, so really fun. So good. So good. In fact, I should probably bring them down here a little bit more so that I can show them off later too. They're my little desk pets after all. Yeah, I like the scale of them too. They were pretty good. It wasn't the scale that I had intended. I intended them to be like 17 millimeters smaller, which, you know, yeah, it's like when you write down your dimensions for a factory, make sure you indicate which one's width, which one's height, which one's length, you know, and show it visually. That was my little mistake, but yeah, it turned out. It looks fine. It's not so much bigger that it's like going to totally kill everything, you know? Ooh, this inside right here is not clean. It's gonna take a few minutes here just to kind of clean this up a little bit. Get rid of that little extra ridge here. One, it's like the dimensions are different for CAD than it is for ZBrush, and so it's like so when you're dealing with a factory, they're going to be working with some CAD software that's not going to be the same as working with your with ZBrush or with Maya or with other 3D packages. So it's like, yeah, Z is up, you know. And so when I told them 100 millimeters, well, I gave them the dimensions X, Y, Z, right? And so that's kind of how they're like, oh, Z is 117, so that means the height, you know. So that's how big they're gonna be. So, you know, the fish pot ended up being right, which I'm just like, whatever. It's done. Let me see. I'm gonna try pulling this over a little bit. I kind of like it, like the idea of it coming in toward her face a little bit more. Let's kind of see about pushing the silhouette a bit. that's kind of cool. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to like eat away at the negative space. So like a lot of this process for me, especially since I'm the character designer, it's about refining the design as much as it is about recreating the design. And I'm liking how that's coming along. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to try something out here. I'm going to try kind of pulling this back a little bit. It's one of the things I'd be interested in seeing a little bit more is her face. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and delete that one. Let's delete the old bangs. And let's delete these old bangs. I'm going to duplicate this. We're going to mirror over to the other side. And let's make sure we only have this little bit here. Let's say delete hidden. So now I can come up into here. I can say subtool merge down. Merge down. There we go. Okay, so now we got this going on, which is great. I can see the eyelashes on both sides, and that's working for me. I'm still not 100% sure. I'm still not 100% sure how I want to work out the back hair. She's gonna have hair on her back. The hair on the back of her head. Currently, I have this bit here. I have this version too, which is more of like a hair down, which I kind of like. Let's go ahead and delete hidden there, just so we have that as kind of more of a version. Say backface masking. Just to be able to get a little bit more of a width to the hair. So, I mean, this is something that I had thought of originally because it gives me a little bit more of a shape. Ponytails can be interesting, but it's one of those things where it's like, you know, what's the balance you want to make? Pull that in. I really like the look here. I mean, it gives me kind of like a Legend of Zelda vibe, you know, which is kind of cool, which is something I wanted to kind of reference in a little bit. I'm not 100% sure that this is the right idea, but we got between this and this. I like both. It's just a matter of kind of thinking which one I like better or which one I just want to try. So, you know, down versus up. What do you guys think? Up? Or down? Let me go ahead and kind of move over to the back side actually. Up. I kind of like the way that up works. I think that that's working pretty nicely. see. Up looks fantastic. I think so too. I think we'll keep up. I'll leave that on. And we'll keep the hair down version for now, but we're gonna keep it just hidden. Okay, so from above, I'm trying to look at like I'm trying to look at this from all sorts of angles, because you know it's all about creating the creating something that feels appealing, right? And there might be different views that make something feel a little bit less solid, or something that you'll notice from different angles, different views that allow you to see what is less solid. So I'm always checking from so many different angles. Cool. You can see like this got a little wobbly through here, so let's go ahead and kind of get rid of this peak. Okay, that's coming along super cool. I'm liking this a lot, guys. This is gonna work. What, headphones? Yeah, definitely Razer. Yeah. Not sure if they're the absolute best. I've noticed that like my microphone keeps like drifting away from my mouth, but whatever. I've enjoyed them. The sound comes through really nicely. They're pretty comfortable. I can usually wear them for a decent amount of time, and I usually have to. Okay, so here's something that now I'm going through and trying to refine the concept. Okay, so the hair on top, this hair and this hair, I want that to be the same length. Thank you, Salim. Yeah, it's been a good it's been a good headset. All right. I want to refine, maybe get this piece. I mean, I got to think about it, but I think I want to make it so that this piece feels a little bit more in length with the rest of the hair on the side here. That's kind of cool. Let's go ahead and let's grab the let's grab this right here. Kind of pull it down a little bit. It's like I like the really chunky breakaway hair chunks. You know, I think that's like a super cool aesthetic. Let's do something kind of like that. I want to get a little bit of a separation here, so let's kind of pull it up some. Let's grab this, and we'll say, let's pull this up a little bit. And let's try to make it so that it kind of like leans, I'm going to say like leans forward. I want to have a little bit more of a forward motion here, so I'm trying to kind of get a good combination of, let's make it slightly shorter. I think that'll help to create a little bit more movement with the character. It's starting to look really cool. Lots of things left to do. I feel like, let me see. I'm trying to be both innovative and sensitive to my original design, which is a hard thing to balance. Let's go ahead and take this. I'm going to give this a little bit more of an S curve here. Strengthen that up some. Cool. Cool. Okay. Okay. I'm liking this. This is going in a good direction, guys. And I am super excited. Alright, so let's kind of come in over here. I'm going to try to emphasize a couple little things just real quick. I do want to try to keep the hair very graphic, very shapely. And so it'll stay more or less like this. I mean, obviously, like there are some spots here that I want to make sure that I'm getting certain accents and things like that in there, but like overall, it's turning out really nice. It's going in the direction I'm liking. Let's go ahead and kind of play with overlap here a little bit. But yeah. You see, get some of that going on here. Maybe I can actually take this, lower that down a little bit. And then I'm going to take this bit, let's just make sure that this kind of stays more or less put, right? Make sure that that kind of comes out from about right there. Make sure that comes out from right there. I can make sure that this comes more or less up here. It's all about cleanup at this stage. So just trying to tidy things up, see if things are working. At some point, I'm going to need to go through and make cleaner hair. So like all this hair here. It's all just kind of sculpted in. It's all block in. At some point, I want to make sure that it's nice, clean topology, so that it's really easy to work with, to keep control of. Ooh, yeah. There we go. Let's get that to go in up over there, something like that. That looks all right. That looks good. Okay. I'm just trying to add like a couple of little accents here, here and there to make this really feel, you know, developed, right? I mean, it is developed, but you know. Anyway. Cool. It's kind of, I don't know. Maybe we'll kind of lean into that a little bit. into that a little bit, kind of get a little bit of a variation between like the thicks and the thins. Let's get this a little bit more, like I like this kind of like curving out and then curving back into the other piece. Like that's a pretty cool aesthetic right there. It's creating more of a dynamic sort of relationship between the two pieces. This bit back here, I feel like that can maybe, this could maybe kind of come back and in. It's like this stuff is so much fun sometimes, but it definitely takes so much work. I'm going to do something similar over on this side, or we'll make, I don't want that to overlap with the earrings, so let's see what we can do, because I do want to make it somewhat similar in the way that it's kind of like, the way that it's kind of like overlapping. Okay, so slightly different, which is fine. I like having the hair be symmetrical, even if it's balanced and quite the same. Starting to go a lot more in like a Sabrina Carpenter sort of direction. Which, you know, could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Okay. Anyway, I think that this might be where I leave her for today. I think that, oh, I better version up on her too. Let's go ahead and save as. I should have done that first, but I didn't. Okay, so let's go ahead and version 5, and we are good. We are good. All right. So, yeah, thanks for coming out, guys. Had a good time working on this. It's good to see you, Leonard. Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming and chatting. Yeah, I think the next time I stream, I think is the second week in December. Maybe it's the first week in December. Can't remember for sure. It should hopefully be in the calendar, but I don't know actually if it is or not. But for those of you wanting to know, let's go ahead. Let's jump in here. We've got Andre coming up on Tuesday as the next, and then wow, streams are a little bit sparse. So yeah, we got a couple of streams on Thanksgiving Day. Nacho Riesco on Thanksgiving at 9 a.m. We got Patrick in the morning at 6 a.m. So that's kind of cool. And then we got Anissa coming up on next Friday. Ooh, and then we're dipping over into December. Look at us go. So yeah, my first one is the 7th of December for next month. Very, very cool. I've got links to all my things here if you want to be able to check out my different links. I've got Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and then I've got all my different websites. Easy enough clicking into my website. You can come in, you click on the Dust Pets logo to be able to get into the Kickstarter. So, you know, come have fun, have a good time. I will see you guys next time I see you. Thanks for coming and hanging out, and have an amazing weekend. Smartest out.